Good evening, I am Tomas Guevara, and this is the channel Rewritten the Reality. The purpose of this channel is to remind you who we are. Subscribe and start creating your reality in an effortless way. Today's episode is about another belief. Nielsen Hababu is an associate professor of philosophy at the National University of Singapore, and he wrote an article that said, "Thanks to Einstein, we know one thing about consciousness, it's inside your head." Inside is meant literally here. If you're in Dallas wearing a hat, your consciousness is in Dallas, under your hat. This is incorrect. Our consciousness permeates our entire body. It is not located in a specific region of the body. It is the same with our memories. Our consciousness, that is not a thing, but an action, carry in itself all of our memories. Also, it carries the memories of all our lives, past, present and futures. Neil continues, in a newspaper, forthcoming in Synthese, I argue that Einstein's theory of relativity shows that qualia, the elements of subjective experience, must be in the same place as their neural correlates, the brain events constituting or immediately causing them, which scientists have not yet identified. It goes like this: 1. If something shares time with a physical event in all reference frames, it shares that physical event's location. 2. Qualia share times with their correlates in all reference frames. 3. Therefore, qualia shares their correlates locations. Einstein discovered that motion affects the times at which things happen in your reference frame, or your location in spacetime. Moving toward things makes them happen earlier. Moving away makes them happen later. These effects are significant only if you move at near the speed of light. If we're side by side, and you're moving near light speed while I'm standing still, events ahead will happen earlier for you than for me. If lightning bolts strike ahead and behind simultaneously in my reference frame, the one ahead will strike earlier in your reference frame and the one behind will strike later. They're in different places, so you can move toward one and away from another, making them not simultaneous for you like they are for me. But when two events happen simultaneously in the same place, it's impossible to move toward one and away from the other. This ensures simultaneity in all reference frames. There can be no delay between correlates and qualia, because correlates either cause or constitute qualia. If neural correlates of consciousness are the last causal step before non-physical qualia, as many dualists claim, they must produce qualia simultaneously or instantaneously. That's how all causes we observe work. Here Neil is also mistaken, and he is because he doesn't understand yet that we create everything using the perceptions mechanism. I explained it in the episode number 5 and 6. He continues, whenever causes take time to have effects, an intermediate chain of steps occupies all the time in between. Hearing a song yesterday can cause me to buy the album tomorrow, but only by affecting my brain throughout the intervening period. And if neural correlates simply are qualia, as physicalists usually claim, they're the same and must arise at the same time. Because there is no delay between neural correlates and qualia, they must share spatial locations. If my correlates caused qualia somewhere else, you could make my qualia occur earlier than my correlates in your reference frame by moving from my correlates toward my qualia. This would be backwards causation. Relativity never allows the causal order in one reference frame to be reversed in another. It therefore requires qualia and correlates to share locations. Qualia are with their correlates, rather than being nowhere or in a weird place. Location sharing may come as a surprise to dualists, who hold that qualia and neural correlates are two different things. But it helps make their theory more scientific and less magical. If qualia were nowhere or far away from their correlates, our brains would have to instantaneously cause things nowhere or far away. If correlates are quantum-level entities, they might be able to cause things far away, but there is currently insufficient evidence for these hypotheses about correlates and quantum causation. Contemporary physics has found 17 types of fundamental particles in space. All these particles exert their causal force locally, rather than at a distance. Location sharing ensures that qualia will follow the same causal rules, the laws of particle physics, as everything else in space. Discovering the physical nature of qualia would be a great explanatory triumph. But if we can't do it, we might have to posit dualist qualia, separate from neural correlates. Location sharing puts qualia where science wants them, whatever their nature may be. Now let's see what qualia is. Qualia refers to the subjective, conscious experiences that individuals have when they perceive the world. It is the term used to describe the raw, qualitative aspects of our sensory experiences, such as the way things look, feel, sound, taste, or smell to us. For example, when you see the color red, the experience of seeing that color has a certain quality to it that is different from the experience of seeing blue. Similarly, the taste of chocolate, the smell of a rose, the pain of a headache, or the sensation of warmth, all have distinct qualia associated with them. The concept of qualia is often used in discussions of consciousness and philosophy of mind. It raises questions about the nature of subjective experience and how it relates to the physical processes in the brain. The famous hard problem of consciousness, proposed by philosopher David Chalmers, delves into the mystery of why and how subjective experiences arise from purely physical processes in the brain. Since qualia are inherently subjective and private experiences, it is challenging to convey them accurately to others. The existence and nature of qualia pose intriguing philosophical and scientific questions that continue to be a topic of debate and exploration. Here is the culprit of this misunderstanding. It is what I call putting the cart in front of the horses. We create everything using our perceptions mechanism. We do it by pushing energy outside of our body. Then, our senses give all this information to our brain and the brain starts the analysis of what is in front of use using our beliefs. For example, a certain smell can cause you to vomit, because you will remember something disgusting. But this hides another principle. For example, let's say that you don't want to work today, then you are going to create this disgusting smell to get you sick and have a reason to not going to your workplace. Or you can create an accident and get a leg broken. Remember, we create our reality, period. In his book Humean Nature, 2017, he defends the desire-belief theory of motivation. He may be best known for his paper Possible Girls, 2008, which explains how David Lewis' modal realism entails that someone in another universe is in love with you. Please don't forget to subscribe to this channel.